Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today it's going to be a match between GunGFuBanDa and Bly on Fire here on Nightshade, the latter edition. This is a Wardy replay again. Link in the description to Wardy's Twitch stream and his YouTube channel. Top left-hand corner, it is the blue Protoss player GunGFuBanDa. Banda, I always forget. And in the bottom right, it is the red Zerg player Bly. Bly is Ukrainian, and GunGFuBanDa is German. I'm going to go with Banda here, because it's like panda, right? Kung Fu Panda, GunGFuBanDa, I think is what we're going with anyway. Sure, why not? I believe Bly's with Rise Esports, and GunGFuBanDa is with Cascade Gaming. Or was, at least at the time this was played. It seems like people are changing teams more and more often these days, which is cool. Not telling them that they shouldn't do that. It's just a little bit harder to keep track of. You know what I mean? Why are you PMing me? Apparently Naruto is PMing Wardy in the middle of a cast. What? It says Naruto. This is not working out. I got PMs from you. Ooh, nice control by Bly. Wiping out that probe. That was great. Chitter chatter is happening between these two guys in the middle of a match. Go figure. Anywho, good job being at yes, Bly going at the proxy hatch, as he will do more often than any other Zerg player on planet Earth. This is what you do. If you get about 5 or 6 probes, you chrono out a zealot, you shut that sucker down. It will not finish if you do these things, Protoss players. That's what you gotta do. Cybernetics core coming up just to make sure nothing crazy is coming his way. And there it is. And Bly has the APM to toss down an illusion chamber there as well, but 1 zealot and 1 probe is enough to handle this. Actually, is it though? They killing it before? They're not killing it. They're just kind of keeping it steady at 100 HP. Well, alright. Easy to kill when it finishes, I guess. And then it turns into broodlings. Let's make sure the zealot doesn't die to the broodlings. The probe's like, and bam, explodes, and there's nothing for the broodlings to kill. They don't even get a hit off on anything, I don't think. And nope. Nice control. Good control there by GunGFuBanDa. Okay, nicely done. Third base coming up from Bly at about 245. It does delay his real third a bit. No problemo. Speed's on the way for him. He does love the Zerglings. And yeah, you know, you click on a Bly video because you expect some crazy Zerg shenanigans like this. Anywho, Double Adept shows up for GunGFuBanDa because he was not going to be delayed at all in his Adept harass. There's 4 lings out and a couple queens. What is going on? What is this PMing? Apparently there are some delays when this is being cast. That's funny. Alright, so we got some lings out. They don't have speed yet, but on creep they're faster than the Adepts, or at very least the same speed as the Shades. GunGFuBanDa does not like what he sees there. Alright, cool. Ooh, he's going Resonating Glaives, which does get perfectly scouted here. Ding, upgrade coming in. Could be a Blinkstalker all in, but as I'm a Zerg player, that's likely going to be a Resonating Glaives all in here out of GunGFuBanDa. Not an all in necessarily, but it does hurt if it doesn't win. And you don't do enough damage with it, then suddenly, well, suddenly you're in a massive amount of trouble. Alright, so additional queens coming up here. Baneling Nest coming in. I do kind of like Banelings more than I like Roaches against the Adepts, because the Banelings kill them faster. And Roaches, their DPS is garbage. There's a reason I don't like Roaches all that much. It's just, I feel like, sure, they're tanky, and yeah, they're good against certain things. What is this all about? Oh. But they kill things too slow. And while the Adepts are hammering away at your drones, killing them in 2 shots each real fast because they have Resonating Glaives, the Roaches are like, splash, wait 2 seconds. Splash, wait 2 seconds. And it's just, I hate it. You need so many Roaches to kill the Adepts quickly, whereas Banelings are just like, instant damage, bonus versus light, and splash. It's great. Huge fan. Apparently, not many people agree with me, because I usually see the Roach Warren be made in response to this, but hey. But hey. What are we doing today? Well, it's a double Stargate opening. Hold on! What is this fake out? Did he cancel? No, he let Resonating Glaives finish for like all of the 5 adepts that he has. So that's real cool, but he's also going into massive Phoenix production, which, man, if you didn't watch the Hurricane versus Solar game last week, it was really good. I know a bunch of you didn't click on it because you're like, it's not 35 minutes long, why would I click on that? It's like, look guys, some great games are good and non-stop, back and forth, action-packed insanity for 17 minutes, you know? It's all good. It's all good. I am just feeling grumpy today. Probably still tired. I had a bit of a crazy 4th of July weekend. My daughter might have had appendicitis last week, and so we went to the doctor, and they were like, oh, no, let's get an ultrasound. And then the ultrasound tech was like, we don't actually see her appendix in the ultrasound. And I was like, well, are people born without them? And they were like, not usually. So then we got a CAT scan, and then the CAT scan came back, and everything was fine and healthy, and probably had a UTI instead of appendicitis, and whatever, it was a mess. And I didn't sleep for an entire night. It was it's like 4:30 p.m. I left my house, and then about 7:30 a.m. I walked back into my house. It was not a good time. So still, I don't know. I've slept a bunch. Okay, all those banelings just crashed on like 2 adepts. Not the best use of them there, Bly. And the Phoenix are here now. Anyway, bottom line, I did do some sleeping. I skipped my Sunday stream. I was trying to catch up on my sleep. But still feeling blah about the whole thing. I'm glad she's okay, but I don't know. It's the whole thing. Alright. What is happening in the land of StarCraft? Well, there's a Spire coming in from Bly, but it's a long ways off yet. You have to fight these Phoenix with the million queens which he owns. 10 of them. With another 2 on the way. The problem is they can't be everywhere the Phoenix can, because the Phoenix can fly. They are zip, zip, zippy. They're going to kill a bunch of your drones. They're going to kill a ton of your overlords. Ooh, couldn't get that one, unfortunately. 31 HP on that guy. One more volley should have been enough to kill it. And really trying to shut down this 3rd base. Like, Bly is committing a lot to this. Force field's doing alright. And he does end up saving the 3rd base. Nice job, GunGFuBanDa. Fantastically well played there. But yeah, you know Bly, he loves his Zerglings. He's going to keep making lings all the livelong day. He has 11 of them right now, 12 of them on the way. Army supply is hugely favoring GunGFuBanDa. I want to say Banda. I think some people do say Banda. I think it's a question of accent, though. Like Roddy, for example, might say Banda, but he says a lot of words differently than I do, so who knows. He's German, though. Maybe watch an interview with GunGFuBanDa and see how he says it. I think that's the most important thing. How he prefers people say his name. Dun, dun, dun. Ba, ba, ba. Hydralisk Den coming in and Baneling Speed. So it looks like... Oh, the timing here, recognizing the little bit of a probe transfer the Lings get in there, really nicely done by Bly. 10 Hydras in production with range coming in here too. I haven't really seen Hydraling Bane against Protoss in some time. For a while, it was all the rage. But we've seen a Ravagerling Bane be a little bit more popular in recent times. Even going for things like Ultralisks. But the Hydras and the Lurkers have kind of fallen out of favor a bit, which, you know, that's how it goes, right? It's the ebb and the flow of the meta in StarCraft. Things change. The more things change, the more they stay the same in some aspects, but definitely things change. So we're just going a lot of Hydras, which you can do if it's not a mass amount of Phoenix. Like, 8 is about right. You can have enough Hydras to handle 8 Phoenix, but when it turns into, like, 20 Phoenix, that's when suddenly every one of your Hydras gets lifted and they all die. It's not ideal. Not super great at all. Creep spread is just beautiful from Bly. He is good at creep spread, which is kind of weird considering you think of him as the all-in player, right? Like, he goes for the early Ling attacks and proxy hatches and crazy stuff, right? Tries to win fast all the time, but if it comes to the late game, which 9 minutes may be late game for Bly, then his creep spread is right up there with anybody's. It is pretty fantastic, especially considering how under the gun he has been, how much his queens have been needed for base defense, and how much a single creep queen out there on its own is going to get picked up and killed by Phoenix, which I've experienced myself personally a few times in team games. So Infestation Pit coming in right now for GunGFuBanDa. And, oh, this base doesn't have any spores at all. All right, 3 drone kills. Nice. Sounds good. Bit of a PSA. I feel like some of you guys don't know how often I'm casting StarCraft 2 because you look at my channel and you're like, ah, it's Brood War. I'm doing about 50-50. I mean, it's been more than that because I'm doing more than 7 casts a week. Anyway, bottom line, if you're looking for StarCraft 2, they're going to be here Sundays. They're going to be here Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Are going to have StarCraft 2 casts. So I hope you're enjoying that. I hope you recognize what's going on. And I hope you don't think I'm abandoning StarCraft 2, because I'm definitely not. I am casting so much StarCraft 2. Most days of the week here. And maybe YouTube isn't showing you all of them, because I don't know that YouTube is showing everybody all of my stuff recently, especially the StarCraft 2 in favor of the Brood War, which bums me out, but anyway. Resonating Glaives, all 5 of them. You know, they got some drones. 21 drones have gone down in the first 11 minutes. I think all the Adepts are dead now, though. No, there's 2. 2 Adepts. Retaining the legacy of Resonating Glaives that was researched. And here they are, double Adepts. 1 kill and 0 kills on those guys. Phoenix cruising around to the bottom side of the map. Storm is coming in from GunGFuBanDa. Hive on the way from Bly at about 11 minutes, which is pretty decent timing for him. Phoenix coming into this base, which is not really well defended earlier, and guess what? It's still not super well defended. More drones going down, but the Hydraling Bane forces GunGFuBanDa to cancel his 4th Nexus entirely. On the other side of the map, Phoenix taking serious hits to their face there from the spores. He lost his concentration because he was worried about this giant army. This is where Storm and Force Fields need to happen right now. And there's your Force Fields. There are no Ravagers, so you can't really get in there. The Force Fields are unsurmountable without Ravagers. So that's why Bly is pulling back. Phoenix Ball has taken some serious hits here, but it's still at a decent number. Still able to kill some drones. Like, for example, if there's, like, okay, there's 2 spores over here. I guess getting back into the 4th base is fine, too. So 5 more drones killed. But look, it's 64 to 62 workers. Bly still has had the income advantage for the last 10 minutes of this match. He's okay. He's doing all right. Greater Spire and 10 Corruptors on the way from Bly. I don't know about Broodlords. I mean, it's a lot of Blink Stalkers, right? It's a lot of Blink Stalkers. If it was something like Zealot Immortal Archon, I'd feel a lot better about Broodlords, but Blink Stalkers just have the uncanny ability, as 4 probes go down in that little bit of Ling Harass inside the main of GunGFuBanDa. Blink Stalkers have the ability to blink, and they'll blink underneath the Broodlords and focus them down one by one. That bonus versus armored they have is really nice, too. What makes them some of the best anti-air is Stalkers. They have the mobility, they have the range, they have just the sheer amount of damage they're doing. They're not Marines. Marines are the best anti-air in the game. Pound for pound, at least from the ground. But Stalkers are number 2, I would say. Dark Shrine on the way from GunGFuBanDa. Interesting. Like that, Bly taking a 5th base up along the right side as the 4th base is warping in from GunGFu. Oh, Zealots actually killing that 5th hatch and then running face first into all of the Banelings. They were brave, but they're dead. And taking down Bly's attempt to take a 6th base down south, too. Just straight killing those hatches. Man, if GunGFu wins this game, it's going to come back to canceling those, well, just killing those 2 hatches, I think. Bly's trying to replace them. Look at, you do have the angle to come all the way around here and get that hatch without really being spotted. And same with the southern route. It's the exact same story. GunGFu finding the areas that aren't creep spread and taking advantage. Army supply 133 to 125, about the same. The Broodlords see getting blinked under, but the transfuses by all of the queens are pretty good. Broodlords are not dying here, and that is GunGFu's cue to get on out. When the Broodlords aren't dying, because they're being transfused by the queens that are in the battle, that's when you know things are getting a little bit bad here. But engaging, okay, that's not great. Okay, okay. Broodlord's taking some hits. Storm on the ground to deal with the Banelings that are rolling in, taking out a few of them. Broodlords, still a bunch of them remaining here. Have any gone down? I didn't see. 3 Broodlords have gone down so far. Pretty good stuff. Bit of some Zealot attacks down to the south wall. This is happening. I don't know, man. I really haven't seen a game won with Broodlords in some time. This is interesting. And the Blinkstalker count is dwindling a little bit. There's only 14 of them here. We have lost 23 at this stage of the game. 2 hatcheries killed, no bases down for GunGFu right now. Bly's 5th base is up and running, but there's not actually any activity there because he only has 63 workers, and he doesn't really need it at this point in time. Ah, this Warp Prism snuck in. This Warp Prism snuck into the main base. This is one thing I think all StarCraft 2 players can agree on, is they hate Zealot Warp-ins in their own mains. Protoss hate it when it happens to them. Terran really hates it, and Zerg hates it, but I think Zerg might have the easiest way of dealing with it just because their units are so fast. They can deal with it pretty effectively. Are these DTs? He's going to manual explode on the Banelings. The Overseers weren't going to get there in time to save that 5th hatch. It's already down to 50% health, though, which is très mal. Not good at all for our friends there. 7 Corruptors in production. Army supply 120 to 91. Oh, that Stalker group has a blink available and able to get out of there. Yeah, that's rolling into storms, which is Bly is pulling back there. Not super great. Not super great, I would argue there. More DTs coming around the bottom side, trying to see what damage they can get done here. There are some spines coming up to deal with the DTs, which is something you do have to invest in, Zerg players. If you are dealing with DTs running around the map as an enemy Protoss is using them, setting up a spore and a couple spines at each base is expensive, but totally worth it in most situations. The Broodlords are doing such a great job staying in areas where the Stalkers can't directly get under them. Fleet Beacon coming in from GunGFuBanDa, maybe going for dem carriers, which they don't have that much of a success rate against Zerg in the last, I'd say, year or so. Baneling pull, is it enough? The Banelings are still rolling. Rolling, and don't get a whole lot done there. 12 probes have gone down. Why do we have the income advantage tab, but we don't actually have... Oh, we do have it when probes die. Never mind. Huh. Man, Zealot's taking down Bly's 5th base. This is tight. Bly's on 4 bases. GunGFu's on 4 bases, trying to get a 5th base up top here, but Bly's never really been able to get his either. So if it comes down to it, resources lost are pretty even, although Bly has lost about 2,000 more. The Protoss unit should be more cost efficient here. The Broodlords themselves may be more cost efficient, depending on how much damage they can get done. The Zealot's trying to come back in here. I don't know. There's a lot of Banelings for your guys. Look at GunGFu. He's just taking advantage of the fact that the Broodlords are slow, heading on down this way, killing creep tumors. Blinking on in and maybe trying to take down a hatch before the Broodlords can arrive right now. I guess that tumor... He's got an observer. There you go. He has an observer with his army, so killing this creep is annoying. Bly wants that stuff. Lings do run in to GunGFuBanDa's 5th base, or 4th base, rather. A bunch of Hydras come in here, too. They don't have any detection, mind you. The Broodlords finally arrive to the south and see what they can do about chasing away the annoying Protoss. And the Protoss is like, we're just not going to engage at this point. Also, no detection means these DTs are doing work. However, detection means the DTs are dead. This is a weird match. This is such a weird game. Tempest in production. Okay, so Tempest, not carriers on the way to try to deal with these Broodlords. They are intended to do so. They are intended to deal with these Broodlords. They have extra range. They do bonus damage versus flying armored stuff, which the Broodlords are. Good storm to weaken them up a bit. The Queens are slow marching up here to toss down transfuses on every one of the many Broodlords we have in the sky. 14 Broodlords is more than I've seen in some time. Look how fast they can kill a Nexus. Okay, I mean, sure, it was already severely injured, but still, 14 Broodlords packs a punch. Tempest getting hits off, transfuses, making up for that damage. Infestors in production. Viper's coming in. As Bly recognizes he needs both of those things. Blings rolling on into that 5th base. Taking off a bunch of those probes there. Tempest are, again, they're getting shots off, but they can't kill the Broodlords, which means transfuses are generally available to keep the Broodlords alive, as the damage output is not that much. But unfortunately, GunGFu is down to 41 workers at the moment. The Infestors are here to toss down Fungals, because that's all they can do right now. I guess they could go for Microbial Shroud. Microbial Shroud. This ground army getting whittled down here. It is 98 to 93 army supply. Bly has a bit of a lead. It's not a massive one. It's definitely a bit of a lead here. Mothership on the way from GunGFu. All right, that's fair. And GunGFu just sharking around a bit. It's a phrase I'm using a lot recently, but it just describes, you know, any player that's hanging out on the edges, thinks about jumping in and getting some damage done, but not quite committing to it. And they need to get this hatch. And again, Bly is not canceling his hatches today. He's really not. GunGFu accepts it, loses a Tempest to abduct, loses another Tempest to abduct. Army supply 103 to 94. Abduct is a good spell. Neural Parasite is done too. These Infestors have the energy for it. Well, these looks like all of them might at the moment. Well, I think only one of them threw down a fungal earlier, so they should all have the energy for this. Bly, again, trying to get a 5th base. Like more than anything in the world, he's finally saturating a 5th base at the 6 o'clock position. There's been a DT in here killing stuff. Finally gets wiped out. I assume he killed some of the drones. It is 50 to 48 workers. Income is actually favoring GunGFu right now. He's not replanting his 4th. He's just happy with his 5th, and then he's going to take a 6th over here at the top right-hand corner, which I kind of like. Although it seems like Bly's Lings are checking for this right as we speak, and they are. So they're going to see that. They were intending to try to do stuff this way, but they accidentally scouted the base instead. This one, they thought this one was up, but it's not. Nice job picking off a couple of those probes there by them. Zerglings, Lings jumping on in. Nice warp in to make sure the Lings can't get inside the natural base and the main base, which would be problematic. But these Lings do have +2 attack. They do not have adrenal glands for some reason. Ooh, 9 Infestors in production and pathogen glands coming in. I think he timed that wrong. I think he wanted to finish pathogen glands before these guys popped, so they'd pop with that extra energy, but I think they popped about 2 seconds before pathogen glands finished, which is hilarious. Void Rays in production from GunGFu. We are getting into some serious late game PvZ here. Lings running into that top right-hand base. Zealot's trying to handle it, but they did get an Archon. This is a nice little victory there. +2 attack on the Zealots. Not really working on +3 for them. It's been so much Sky that the upgrades to the ground have been a little bit neglected here for GunGFu. That base gets canceled before the army shows up to do it. Zealot's trying to roll into that 6 o'clock. No. Say the combination of Banelings, Zerglings, and Spines. A good combination against Zealot attacks. And DT attacks too, to be honest. Bly trying to take a 6th base over here on the left side of the map, as far away from this army as he can possibly get. First carrier in production from GunGFu. So he's going to try the carriers. He's going to weather the carrier curse that has been involved in StarCraft 2 for some time. Balancing them seems like it's been pretty hard for the StarCraft team to do. For a while there, they feel kind of overpowered as Bly expands again to the bottom left-hand corner. Again, as far away from the army as he can get. See, look, the Zealots don't even have speed when they're in Changeling format. Like, how are you supposed to fool anybody with slow Zealots when your enemy has speed Zealots, right? Ridiculous. Ooh, Fungal actually kills that Phoenix, which is hilarious. Feedback! Does catch a couple of the Infestors. The Chain Fungal on the... Oh, the feedbacks on the Infestors pretty good. The Chain Fungals on the High Templar, though, kind of good. Kind of fantastic there from Bly. So if Bly can kill this and hang on to these bottom left-hand bases, he's got this thing sewn up. But you never know. Small ground army over here of Zealots and Immortals versus Ling Hydra. They just outnumber them pretty effectively. There are not enough Hydras or Banelings or Lings to do this. I was gonna say, do you save your Knurl? What do you do? No, he's not saving his Knurl Parasite at all. Oh, the Broodlords are here too. This Grand Army getting wiped out, which means GunGFu's gonna come in to a completely dead base and wipe it out. All the Knurls got used on these Immortals. 31 and 36 kills on those guys. I know some of that is Broodlings from the Broodlords, but still, good golly, Miss Molly. I mean, killing this hatch, maybe it feels nice. I don't know, does it? Queen's getting feedbacks right in the face here. This is a good match. This is a really, really good match here. Fungal catching. Ooh, Mothership gets yoinked and recalls out. There aren't enough Corruptors to kill it. Or maybe there might have been. They just didn't target fire well enough there from Bly. So again, Bly hanging on to these bases is real nice. The fact that GunGFu is holding on to these top bases, also very good. There are still 4 unclaimed bases on this map, though. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Although this was the 4th base for a time and has been mined pretty heavily. Some of these patches are just about done, and some of the patches are not just about done. No, these are Zealots. Of course they are. All right, Zealots coming on down, recognizing, okay, this hatch doesn't have any static defense. Of course, if they know this hatch exists, they do, actually. And they should go for it. They should go for it. Go for it. Don't go back. You gotta go for it. You're on the right track. He's trying to hit both at the same time. Which, this one, they might get an Infestor. They got an Infestor, and just trying to hack down this hatchery with their +2 attack. Alas, if only they had +3 attack. Wait. They're going to get it. Holy smokes. All right, response time, again, by a largely Infestor army from Bly. Like, what do you do? Do you fungal them to death? You try, but they have a lot of HP. Oh, no, Lings got inside the house. Some Zerglings got inside the house for GunGFu. Both these bases die, and this army's pushing up the right side. And suddenly, it feels like maybe GunGFu has the upper hand here. DTs and Zealots trying to deal with the Zerglings. There is detection in the form of an Overseer, but still, there's just too much of that stuff for this to really work out for those Lings. And some of them actually managed to get outside the house, which is not too shabby. GunGFu, meanwhile, has expanded to, again, the top side, but a little bit lower. Additional Broodlords in production here for Bly. And there's the Mothership down, I think. Yeah, it does die before the recall can finish there. Oh, and Knurl parasites the High Templar just to get it back here. So the Broodlords can kill it. GunGFu at 184 supply, Bly at 184 supply. Income has been favoring GunGFu for the last little minute here. Zealot attacks in deep into Zerg territory have been pretty good. Got a Queen going after some of these spines. I don't know. What are we doing here? Baneling Nest going down to be pretty awesome, actually. But I don't think they're going to get it. That's a lot of Lings smashing you on the back. Do you have adrenal glands? No. What the heck? When did I see this last? I last saw this in a match where a Zerg player refused to get adrenal. Oh, there it is. Okay, so Bly's not refusing. Maybe he just forgot. Zerglings cruising on into the top right-hand base. GunGFu has a warping available. Warps in a million zealots, and the Ling's back on out. Very, very intelligently. Another Ling attack coming into that new base. No. Nope. GunGFu's entire army is there. Creep spreading up the center section, which has been Bly's great strength today with creep spread. Has been going up that center section all by himself. More infestors in production. And this is a weird, weird game. I haven't seen this many infestors, this many carriers in some time. Infestors are a bit of the forgotten unit when it comes to Zerg. Ever since they got rid of infested Terrans, infestor production rates have gone down immensely. I should do a documentary about that. Abduct on the Void Rays. Just to make sure the Void Rays die, because they're the big concern right now. The Void Rays, if they get into a decent number, can deal with the Corruptors pretty easily. But if it's just Carrier and Tempest, then suddenly the Corruptors are incredible. They look like the best units in the game until Void Rays show up. Bunch of Changelings down here making me worry they're actually Zealots. These guys going after the 5th hatch again. Link should be able to stop that one. GunGFu coming down to the new source of income for Bly. Static defense is no match for the might of an entire Skytoss army. Nice feedbacks on those infestors, though. That was hot. Nice job. He does actually assimilate a High Templar to storm his buddies. And I think he got all the other High Templar. That was amazing. Hatch dies and 10 drones go down, yes. But that was a super sick move out of Bly. I haven't seen much Neural Parasite on High Templar on the channel recently, and it makes me happy to know there is some. Naruto has some thoughts. How are you liking your 32-minute game? I think it's pretty good. Cursed. GunGFu income looking fantastic. Apparently, Bordy and Naruto are complaining about how long this is, but you know what? It's been a while since I've cast a 30-plus minute StarCraft 2 game. So, probably so long. A bunch of you guys thought this was a sneaky twofer. You're like, 30-minute PvZ? Pfft, no way. This is Falcon messing with us. No, it's not. This is actually 30 minutes. Dude, this might be it, though. Taking down that hatch again is such a big deal. These guys sacrificed their lives to make sure that it would happen. Ling's trying to shut down this new base of GunGFu's. A recall. Oh, defensive storm. Pretty good. And then a big warp and a zealot's able to handle it too. So 7 probes down. Going after this base too. I mean, Bly is effectively on one mining base where GunGFu's taking yet another base to mine from. We are slowly getting whittled down if we are Bly in this game. It is 192 to 161 supply in favor of the Protoss. The Hive's going to get sniped. The army can't really get there because the Broodlords are so slow. Zealots just kind of face-mashing themselves into the army of Bly for some reason. Bly just gives up his entire main. He's got another Spire coming up. Does he have an infestation pit? No. Whoa. Alright, so these infestors get to finish. At least for a while. That's going to be all the infestors that can be produced. And maybe he has all the ones that he wants anyway. He has 10 of them, which seems like a pretty good number. But it's 126 to 119 army supply in favor of Bly. The infestors are great force multipliers for him as well. The Void Ray count is not super hot. There's only 3 of them. A million changelings try to come up here and spy on the Protoss forces, but again, about a 4-second lifespan on average once they get spotted. GunGFu recognizes this base isn't really that much big of a deal. GunGFu tried to replace his 4th, but this base is cursed, man. That is a cursed Nexus if I have ever seen one. Then let that changeling live. Let that be a lesson to you, says GunGFuBanDa. Just been trying to catch feedback on the High Templar. Feedback on that feedback
Assimilation successful.
on the Infestor, but revenge is had by the Infestor as well. It's just, this is it, man. I don't know how Bly wins this thing. The income has been favoring, for as much as it favored Bly in the first 10 minutes of this match, it is now favoring GunGFuBanDa for the last 10 minutes of this match. It's slowly been going into GunGFuBanDa's favor. He's got 66 workers to 31 drones for Bly, who has expanded to basically GungFu's side of the map, but I guess this is Bly's side of the map too that GungFu has expanded to, so whatevs. It's good. Robotics Bay coming in, working on disruptors, I guess. Like a big disruptor hit on these infestors would be sick. Oh, a couple whiffs. Decent fungal there, but it can't follow, or does get a follow-up. Are you kidding? Storm feedback combo, and that High Templar dies to fungal. I'm not seeing so many units die to fungal in a long, long time on the channel. Are we mining this base, or this map out? I feel like we're mining this map out. Seven more infestors in production. Where the heck? Oh, okay. He finished his lair, made an infestation pit, and then made 7 infestors. Very cool. Works for me. Man, setting up a base when there's creep literally almost touching your stuff cannot be a good feel. Bly slowly getting pushed back. Sacrificial High Templar, get some feedbacks off. Does catch another fungal to the face. Is that enough to kill him? Yes. So the High Templar snipes here by Bly have been excellent. 22 High Templar have died. There's only 7 on the field right now for GungFuBanDa. Yeah, I still feel like this is GungFu's game to lose. He's got a great income. He's got great worker count. He does have to worry about the infestors, though, a lot. Like, Neural on a bunch of this stuff, any of this stuff, honestly, would be troubling. High Templar tries to sneak over there, but again, if you're on creep, can't really sneak all that much, you know? And another High Templar dies. This has been so patient from Bly, just slowly picking off High Templar here and there. Here and there. +3 flyer attack coming in here from Bly. These corruptors are going to be pretty intense with their +2 attack and their +3 carapace. Did he just get gravitic? Did he just increase observer speed? There we go. Zippity zippity. Observers are fast now. But yeah, this has just been free mining here out of GungFu. Sure, he's had to defend it a little bit here and there. But Bly is backed into a corner, and being backed into a corner is not something really anybody wants to do. Especially not Zerg. It's a bit of a whiff on that fungal. Abduct on the Oracle, so Revelations aren't actually possible anymore. I was going to say easy, but they're not possible without Oracles. And there aren't any more here. Fungal coming down. Chain fungal on the carriers. It takes a lot of chain fungals to kill carriers, like a lot. Oh, there's the Neurals, but the recall gets them out of there, saving their lives. That is always such a weird animation when something is neuraled and gets recalled, like this little tentacles, like whoop, they head up a direction and then they're severed. I don't have that many zealots. You guys are all bad. Actually, hold on. Do observers? I guess observers can tell that they're changelings, right? Why have I never thought about this before? Ooh, assimilator down. The Broodlords found a nice angle to harass this base. This is just extreme patience from everybody right now. Big storm on the left side. Some fungals getting tossed down here and there. Static defense getting sniped out. GunGFu has a big bank. 7,000 or 6,000 minerals and 3,500 gas. Does he just... Look at all the shield batteries up here at this base. That's hilarious for GunGFu. Mothership gonna die for the second time today. Void Rays getting some decent hits off there, but also taking fungals that are a little bit squishier than the carriers are, so they don't like that very much. Prismatic alignment is up on the Void Rays, but not wanting to engage there is Bly. This is the engagement we've been waiting for. Corruptors jumping in. Void Rays trying to target down the Corruptors as much as they can. Parasitic bomb on everything right now. Detection is here in the form of Overseers for some reason. Some High Templar joining the party a little bit late. Is this enough? The storm on top of the Corruptors hitting your own carriers at the same time, but all of the Corruptors are getting obliterated. It's 158 to 102 supply. 97 to 67 army supply. The Corruptors are effectively gone. There's a handful of them remaining here. The Stalkers are mean, though. 9 Corruptors in the sky. How many have died today? A total of 30 have gone down. Resources lost. 70,000 for Bly. 62,000 for GunGFu. Bly is on his last economic legs right here. Can't really move out. Can only really defend at this stage. The Stalkers get a couple of the Broodlords and then are forced to flee as the Broodlings cause them problems. No, they blink back in to focus down the Broodlords. Another Broodlord goes down. Can another one die here? Yes, absolutely. There are not enough Broodlings here. The Broodlord count is reduced to 0, and that might be your GG, ladies and gentlemen. No Broodlords remaining. All that are left here is a handful of Lings and a handful of Corruptors and a bunch of Overseers. Look at the Zealots. They're like, we got this. We can handle this many Zerglings. The Changelings kind of messing up the pathing of everybody here, which is absolutely fantastic. Zealots hacking up the spores. This base is in a lot of trouble. Bly is going to try to hang on here, but when you're down 120 to 60 army supply, when your opposing Protoss enemy has been that far ahead in income for so long, he's trying to storm the Corruptors because they still provide a decent threat. Look at these Banelings from Bly. Dude, this is... I just don't see it. I don't see how Bly is going to come back in this game. Corruptor Ball basically can one volley down these carriers, though. Carrier count in a lot of trouble, and I don't know how much... Well, no, GunGFu is replacing them. But yeah, this bottom left base, nothing happening. That base is gone. This is the remaining... This is all the tech. If Bly can't stop this, it's over, man. It's over. 182 to 40 total supply. Bly has 3 drones remaining. Zealots continually warped in. Carriers in production. Broodlords trying to come in here for Bly. This is such a dumb game. I love it. Golly. So GunGFu. I don't want to caster curse this. Oh, he's doing the disco ball dance. Oh, with the oracles. No way. I've never seen that in a game. Good game. GunGFuBanDa is your winner in 43 minutes and 41 seconds. Oh. That was a match. That was a match. Holy smokes, that was so fun. I don't know if I want to give that an epic tag necessarily, but geez, 43 minutes ZVP where carriers actually win in a game where I feel like Bly is favored. I feel like Bly is the better player overall than GunGFu is, but dang, son. GunGFu, patience on display. Loses 2 motherships, 12 of his carriers. He ends up killing 25 Broodlords, 11 hatcheries, 2 hives, 2 greater spires, 2 infestation pits, 96 drones, lost 50 probes. I mean, a bloodbath in every stretch of the imagination. Bly ended up losing 86,000 resources, GunGFu 72. And that's it. Sometimes that's all StarCraft is just economy craft. Who has the best economy for the longest time if the players are remotely even, will generally win the game. And when you have this whole top side largely to yourself, and then Bly's stuck down here on 3 bases, it's not going to work out, man. And it certainly didn't there for Bly. So nice job, GunGFu. Held off the early cheese from Bly. And when it turned into a super long ZVP macro game, he knew what he was doing. What a boss. All right. Well, you know what? That is going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.